How can you say you operate in excellence when you accept less than perfect? Okay, if you're accepting that light bulb that doesn't work, won't that translate into you just accepting other stuff that doesn't work left around you? And to that, I would say no. Because operating in excellence does not always mean perfection. Okay, it means constantly delivering high quality results in the areas that matter most.
Happy birthday to you.
What is up, guys? My name is Jim Sabelico, and this is the No Half Cakes podcast. I just want to welcome you back to a strategy sprinkle edition of the show. These are the versions of the show where I give you a practical, tactical tip to help you level up in your personal and professional life. I try and keep these short and to the point, and I want this one to be the same too. Now, I want to give you an example that I recently came across where hopefully this helps make some sense for you. Now, in my TV room of my house, we've got like a 15-foot ceiling. And in that ceiling, there are 8 light bulbs. One of those light bulbs has not worked for about a year and a half. Now, should I replace it? That's the question I'm posing to you. I haven't. Let me tell you why. Minimum effective dose. Now, what minimum effective dose portrays, the concept here suggests, is doing the smallest amount necessary to achieve the desired result. Okay, for me, the difference between all 8 light bulbs working and 7 of the 8, the light produced from the 7 is sufficient enough for me to see around the room. Okay, I'm not falling over the coffee table. I'm able to read. I'm able to do whatever I need to do with 7 of the 8 light bulbs working. So for me to go get the ladder, go buy the light bulb, go climb up to the ceiling, replace that light bulb, the hours and time necessary are not worth the additional light that's going to come from replacing that light bulb. Okay, now I hope that concept makes sense. The minimum effective dose. What we're talking about here is it really beneficial for me to invest my time and energy on doing all those things to replace that light bulb? Because the difference that one light bulb is going to make is not really going to make the room so much more efficient and brighter and me be able to see that much better. I'm able to see just fine. Okay, now if it gets to the point where half of them aren't working, where we really start to have a diminished result, or it just happens to look awful, different story. Okay, but let's compare this against operating in excellence. Okay, because I talk a lot about operating in excellence and having a life that you're operating in excellence in all things. And you might say, hey, Jim, how can you say you operate in excellence when you accept less than perfect? Okay, if you're accepting that light bulb that doesn't work, won't that translate into you just accepting other stuff that doesn't work left around you? And to that, I would say no. Because operating in excellence does not always mean perfection. Okay, it means constantly delivering high quality results in the areas that matter most. So for me, personally, I am able to take that time and energy and spend it hanging out with my kids. I'm able to spend it on something else that matters more to me than that light bulb. Okay, your excellence is going to look a little bit different in every area. Okay, it might be a client project, it might be delivering beyond expectations, but for the low impact things, okay, operating excellence can mean good enough in certain areas, again, that are low impact, that don't touch on your core values. But when you accept functioning good enough in those areas to allow you to dedicate your time to something that truly matters to you. Okay, so what I'm talking about here specifically is looking around your life at things that are worth your time and not worth your time. Because a lot of us spend our time, again, the word spend there is very intentional because you are not investing it. You're not putting that time into something that's going to reap a reward. You are spending that time on a task that has little to no return. Okay, that time that you're spending doing that is not going to reap a reward. There's no tangible reward for me. The difference between 7 and 8 light bulbs is so minuscule, I can't even measure it. Okay, and that's what I want you to start looking around your life for. Where are the things that you're spending your time doing that are not returning rewards? And again, I want to be very clear. I'm not asking you to live a life where you accept good enough in all areas. Part of leveling up means understanding the difference between good enough in things that don't really matter and good enough in things that matter the most. Okay, because if you start accepting good enough in the areas that matter, that becomes a problem. You got to start leveling up your skills where you understand, hey, this is not worth my time. And I know this concept might be difficult to understand. Something that I honestly don't know that I can portray in a 10-minute episode of this show. Something that we have to talk through, we have to go through, and that's why I want to encourage you to have these conversations, give me scenarios, leave comments here below where you're like, hey, is this worth my time? Drop me a comment on this video, go join the Tab Better Club, leave your comment in there. Okay, let's talk about it, because there's a lot of things in your day-to-day that are not going to be worth your time. Starting to identify those, starting to figure out, hey, where am I investing my time that is not reaping a reward in an area that matters to me? When you start figuring that out and you start eliminating those things from your life, great. That's when you start to level up. And again, I'm not suggesting this light bulb will be out in perpetuity. There's going to come a point in time where I have the ladder out already because I'm decorating for Christmas and I want to go do something else. I'm going to do it then. But it's not going to be the type of thing that throws me off my week, where I get so OCD annoyed by the fact that that 1 out of 8 is not working, where I have to start changing my day-to-day and taking away from areas that matter most. Right? Because your time is super limited. You are going to be pulled in a lot of different directions. And if you start investing your time poorly, you are spending your time in areas that do not reap rewards. Right? So I want you to start looking at, hey, what is the minimum effective dose here for things to work, right? That 80-20 principle, where 80% of your effort, 80% of the results come from 20% of your effort. That's what we want to start looking at. Investing that 20% wisely. Which tasks are you spending your time on? Spend your energy on stuff that's gonna matter, that's gonna bring back areas of improvement for you. There's always going to be stuff to do. There is no shortage of stuff. I've never met any person ever who has totally finished a to-do list and not had another thing they could or should be doing. There's always going to be more. Okay, so if you start thinking that operating excellence means perfection rather than excellence in the areas that matter most, I want you to be perfect in those areas, but it's far from perfect overall. Okay, you're going to have to harmonize. You're going to have to figure out how to push forward, and there's going to be some gaps. Okay, none of us are perfect, but figure out the areas that matter most to you and grow in those areas. 7 versus 8 light bulbs ain't it. Okay, so if there's areas in your life where you're spending your time trying to be perfect, where you're spending your time trying to improve upon something that's going to return no reward to you, I want you to start looking at those areas and start figuring out, why am I doing this? Is it something that's going to reap a reward for me? Or am I doing it just to check a box? Am I doing it just because I don't even know why? The routine, low-impact tasks, it's not where you want to be. You want to be operating in excellence. That's your gifting. That's the things that matter the most. That's where you want to be. So look around your life, man. Look around the areas where you've got that one light bulb out where you're like, bothers me. Doesn't bother me enough. Ask yourself that. There's a lot of areas you could look around where things might bother you, but they don't bother you enough. Use it to your advantage. That's what I'm asking you for this week. Understand the minimum effective dose. How to get what you want. The least effort possible. Sounds super lazy. It's actually the most efficient way to operate through your life. Where are you not going to waste your time? That's what I want for you. I want you to use your time efficiently and effectively to live the life you want. Go out and get it.